As a punter in the National Football League, the role you play in your team's success is a very important one. While you do a lot of things individually, many times how you perform has a direct effect on the outcome of a football game. What I'm going to try and do here is show you some of the techniques I use to try and help my team win, and if you use them, hopefully it can help you be a better punter. When I come into punt in a National Football League game, the first thing I want to do is make sure I'm 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That gives me plenty of room to get my punt off, as well as gives my guys time to go down and make the tackle. Now, the second thing I want to do is make sure I'm standing properly. Now, personally, I prefer, since I'm a right-footed punter, is to have my left foot in front of my right about shoulder width. That enables me to go to my right or my left in case the snap isn't good, if it's high or if it's low, and get the punt off. Once you're in your proper stance, the next thing you're going to do as a punter is to catch the snap from center. Now, as I mentioned before, personally, with my left foot in front of my right, I want to keep my hands to the side and try to make sure the center gives me a snap around my numbers. Many times, players will want to have their hands extended out in front of them to give the center a real good target as to where he wants the ball centered back to. So as I said before, you're in your proper stance, left foot in front of your right. Personally, I like to have my hands by my side and watch the ball come all the way back from center, all the way into my hands, make sure I look it in, and I want to turn the laces up so I can prepare to hit a good punt. Once you've caught the ball from center, the most important thing you want to do is try and make sure you have the laces up. Many times as you catch the snap, the laces may be off to the side or underneath, so you want to make sure you spin them up top so you can get the ball off properly very quickly. The next thing you want to do is make sure you hold the ball in your hand the way you prefer. Now, there's three ways to hold the ball when you're going to punt it. Personally, I like to hold the ball underneath with the laces straight up in my hand directly underneath of it. Another way to do it that's very popular is to hold it on the side. That way, if you want to turn the ball as you drop it, that enables you to do that also. A third way that many NFL punters hold the ball is on top. This is one where they want to put their middle finger on the lace to try and ensure that the ball's dropped straight and they can get off the perfect punt. Two of the most important things in how you can get off a good punt are the steps you take and how you drop the football. I'm going to demonstrate those things to you right now. As I said before, you have your feet spread apart, you watch the ball in from center, and here's where you want to go into your steps and your drop. Personally, I like to take a little cheat step with my left leg as the ball's coming back. So as I catch the snap, I've already taken half a step with my left leg. Then I want to go 1, 2, and now I'm in a position to drop the ball to punt. Foot contact, where your foot meets the ball, is very important in executing a punt. The best way to do this is, as I mentioned before, when you drop the ball to keep it straight, you want the straight part of the ball, when it meets your foot, to meet the flat part of your foot. Now, the way you do this is by keeping your toe pointed, and you want to make contact right where your shoelace is, where the ball of your foot is, the flattest part of your foot against the fattest part of the ball. So conceivably, you want to have the ball actually sitting right on the top of your foot here for a split second, and that way you get your best punt. Where you get your power in a punt is through leg whip and follow through. Leg whip is when your leg comes from the middle of your body backwards and starts to swing forward, and follow through is where after you'd make contact with the ball. I'm going to try and demonstrate right now what I mean by leg whip and follow through. Now remember, leg whip is how fast you bring your leg when it's behind your body to where you make contact with the ball, again with your toe being pointed and the ball straight. And follow through is how your foot swings up as you've let it go. I'm going to try and demonstrate that right now. As I said before, legs spread, hands at your side. You watch the ball in, try and get the laces up. I'm going to take my cheat step, then 2, and make contact. When you talk about a punt, many times a punt is measured by distance, accuracy, and hang time. Now, all three of those things are important, but depending on the situation of the game, one is more vital than another. For instance, when you're in your own end zone, you're in a position where you want to get the ball out as far as you can, so distance is at a premium. On the contrary, if you're punting inside the 50-yard line, you want to try and not only kick the ball shorter, you may want to try and be accurate, meaning kick it to your right and to your left. Now, with the New York Giants, the team I play for, many times we want to try and kick the ball what's called outside the numbers. That is, where the numbers are on the field and the sideline, we want to try and angle the ball either to the right or the left, therefore minimize the room that the returner has to run in. Distance and accuracy are very important in punting, but one thing you must always have is hang time. That being how long the ball is in the air when it leaves your foot until the other team's return man catches it. The main thing this does is gives your team time to go down and make the tackle, minimize the return, therefore put the other team's offense in a bad position. One drill that I use personally before I'm going to go into a game to get a punt off and try and help put my team's defense in good position is I like to try and kick the ball up in the air to myself on the sidelines. This tries to give me an opportunity to make sure that I hold the ball straight, as I mentioned earlier. I keep my foot pointed, and I try to get the ball to come off in some kind of a spiral, because if I do this same thing on the field when I swing forward, I'm going to get a real good punt. And all that consists of doing is basically this. I'll just try and get a little room around my teammates, maybe sometimes on the end of the bench, just stand there to myself, drop the ball, and pop it up in the air to myself. Very lightly, just making sure my foot makes contact with the ball, so when I go into the game, it's something that's not new for me. Many times a guy uses a net on the sidelines, as you see in many NFL games, but personally, I prefer not to do that. This is something where I actually like to get my foot on the ball so I can see it coming off my foot and try and make sure that I do that once I get into